Hi friends, I'm Dave Barklow, pastor at Fort Walton Beach First United Methodist. Welcome to the Pastor's Corner, our daily devotional to help us focus our mind on the things of God. Right now we are looking through several of Jesus' parables. We are taking our cues from Dr. Callis in his book Parables from the Backside. Today we're going to begin looking at what is often called the parable of the sower, although we might see it should be actually called the parable of the four soils. That's kind of the sowers there, but the soils get a lot of the attention. We're going to begin looking at this, and I want to kind of take each day for the next 4 days and talk about each of the different kinds of soils mentioned in this parable. Let me read to you first. This is from Matthew 13, 1 through 9, and then Jesus' explanation in verses 18 through 23. That same day Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him that he got into the boat and sat there, while the whole crowd stood at the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and ate them up. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100, some 60, some 30. Let anyone with ears listen. Hear then the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what is sown in the heart. This is what was sown on the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet such a person has no root, but endures only for a while. And when trouble or persecution arises on account of the word, that person immediately falls away. As for what was sown among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the lure of wealth choke the word, and it yields nothing. But as for that was sown on the good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bear fruit and yields, in one case 100, in another 60, in another 30. So this is one of those parables where Jesus actually gives us the explanation. The apostles come to him after he's done this teaching and said, can you explain this to us? And Jesus actually tells them what he's talking about. He actually gives them the explanation. And so I want to look at that. Today, we're going to look at the hard soil, the path where the seed fell. And this is very, common. They go out, they're sowing the seed, and the ground, the farmland is bordered by a path. So the idea that there's a path right there is perfectly logical. A lot of people have talked about the path being the place where people have been beaten down by life and have been tread on or are treading down difficulty. And all that is certainly very possible. But in Jesus' explanation of what it is, Dr. Callis points out, is that it is not just someone who has been beaten down by life, but it's really the one who hears the word and doesn't understand. Now, Jesus doesn't say why they don't understand. Maybe they're not old enough to understand yet. Although, if you're like me, you find out that your children understand a lot more than you think that they do. Maybe they're just not in a place in life where they can understand yet. Then he says one thing that I found to be striking about this parable. He's about those who do not understand the word. Others may have concluded that it is easier to lower their perception because when they understand, their conscience tells them they ought to do something about themselves. It is better, therefore, not to understand. That some of us deliberately choose not to understand. We choose to be the soil that is the hard-packed path because we know that if we let the Word of God really permeate us, really get down into our souls, really invade our hearts with the good news, with that Sermon on the Mount we talked about for so many weeks before, that it means that we might have to change. We might have to do more. Friends, my prayer is today is that we will not be hard-hearted, that we will not let this life beat us down, and we will not let our own desire to hold on to the way we are keep us from hearing the Word of God. Friends, I love you. Take care of yourselves and shine the light of Christ.